Ever get that feeling like you just want to dive deep into something, like really get to the heart of it, without getting bogged down in all the little details?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, that's what we're doing today, and we've got something pretty cool.
It is cool.
You think you're going to like it? We've recently acquired a collection of Laserdisc releases of Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Ooh, nice.
And for some of you listening, this might bring back some memories.
Yeah, I had Laserdiscs growing up.
Right. For others of you, maybe this is something you've never even seen before.
It was like the precursor to DVD.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking pretty old school here. But what's really interesting is that examining these Laserdiscs, it gives us such a unique perspective on this film.
Like a historical perspective.
Right. It's a viewpoint that you just don't get from a, DVD, Blu-ray, or even 4K.
It's true. You don't. You really don't.
It's all about how media was presented and valued back then.
And how it was presented to different audiences.
Yeah, right, exactly. So we're not just looking at one shiny disc here. We've actually got 3 distinct packages.
Three
That we're going to be exploring. So first we have a single English language release. This is pillar number 1284.
Okay.
Then we have pillar 1285, which is a 2-language version. It's got English and Japanese audio.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And then finally we have the Big Kahuna, the deluxe 6-sided box set.
I like where this is going.
I know, right? Each one kind of gives us a little window into this film's journey through home video history.
So what are we hoping to discover today?
Well, our mission today is to uncover some of the really interesting details and insights that these Laserdiscs offer. What can they tell us about the film's history? How was it presented? And especially its cultural impact.
Especially in Japan.
Especially in Japan. Okay, so let's start with that first one, the Pillar 1284, the English language release.
Okay, so this is the straightforward one.
Yeah, it's the straightforward one. But it's got some really interesting details.
Like what?
Well, it has the English audio track, but it also includes Japanese subtitles.
Right. Interesting. So they were thinking about the Japanese market even back then.
Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing. Side 2 of the disc, it isn't just more movie. It actually features a making of Snow White documentary.
Wow. A making of featurette on a Laserdisc from that time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty substantial bonus for a standalone release. And it kind of shows, that even back then there was an interest in seeing how the movie was made.
Behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, I love that.
Too. And to add to that, it came with some cool physical extras, too.
What kind of extras?
Postcards.
Oh, wow.
And a leaflet about Laserdisc graphics, LDG.
Oh, yeah, I remember LDG. That was cool. It was like the special effects of Laserdisc.
Exactly. So it gives you this little glimpse into the technical side of things back then.
I bet.
But here's what's truly remarkable. This disc is 32 years old.
Wow, 32 years.
32 years old, and it's described as pristine.
Like brand new.
Almost like brand new.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. That's amazing. Especially for something that old.
I know. And you know what they paid for it? $5.
$5. For a pristine Laserdisc.
$5. It makes you think about how we value physical media today.
No kidding.
Right. All right, so let's move on to the second pillar release, number 1285.
Okay, this is the one with both languages.
Yes. This one has both the original English audio track and a Japanese dubbed version.
So they were really targeting the Japanese market with this one.
Absolutely. And just like the other one, it also features the making of Snow White on side 2.
Okay, so they kept that as a consistent bonus.
Right. And the packaging on this one is super interesting. The Japanese title is front and center.
Makes sense. They're really highlighting the Japanese audience.
Exactly. Now here's where things get a little mysterious. According to LLDDB.com.
That's the online Laserdisc database.
That's the one. This release was supposed to include postcards.
Okay.
But in the collection we looked at, they were missing.
Huh. Maybe they got lost over time.
That's possible. Things happen. Stuff gets lost.
Yeah. Or maybe there were some variations in the release that weren't documented.
Yeah, that could be too. It's a mystery. But even without the postcards, this disc was also in pristine condition.
Oh. Still just $5.
Still just $5.
Crazy.
I know. And something interesting about both these pillar releases is that they have this really subtle embossing on the packaging.
Ah, the little details.
Right. It's like a small tactile detail,
Yeah.
but it just shows you the level of care they put into it.
You don't see that kind of attention to detail as much anymore.
No, you don't. And it kind of reminds me of the difference between Japanese products and, say, vinyl records.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, you know how even with protective sleeves, you often find vinyl records with bent corners?
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Right, but with these laser discs, it's like they were really focused on keeping them in perfect condition.
There's definitely a cultural difference there.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Okay, so are you ready for the main event?
hit me with it.
The deluxe six-sided box set.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
This thing is gorgeous. It's described as super gorgeous.
So this was like the premium edition back in the day.
Oh, yeah, big time. It has a bright white obi strip.
The paper band around the packaging.
Exactly. And it's packed with info. It even mentions things like Mickey Mouse Theater of the Air and a Snow White Day feature.
Oh, wow. They went all out.
They really did. It even tells you which sides are CAV and which are CLV.
For those who don't know, CAV is constant angular velocity, which is better for special features, and CLV is constant linear velocity, which is what they usually use for the movie itself.
You got it. And guess what? This box set is also in a pristine condition.
No way! After all these years!
No discoloration, no water damage, nothing. It's like it was frozen in time.
Incredible.
And the Snow White title on the box, it's reflective.
Ooh, fancy.
Right. But are you ready for the price tag?
Okay, lay it on me.
Back in 1993, this box set cost 20,000 yen.
Whoa! That's a lot of yen.
That was about 120 US dollars then. But adjusted for inflation, that's like $270 today?
$270 for a Laserdisc set.
I know, but guess what they paid for it?
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. How much?
$10.
$10.
$10. Can you believe it?
That's insane. What a find.
I know, right? It really shows you how the value of these things can change over time.
For sure.
Okay, so what's on these discs?
All right, so disc 1 has the first part of the movie. Side 1 has 11 chapters,
Uh-huh.
and it ends with the dwarfs washing up for supper.
Okay, so classic Snow White scenes.
Yeah. And then side 2 has 5 more chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And get this, all the chapter titles are in both Japanese and English.
Nice detail.
Right. Then we have disc 2. Side 3 has 6 chapters, and side 4 has 6 chapters, and it ends with Love's First Kiss. You know, when Prince Charming wakes up Snow White?
Ah, the iconic ending.
Right. But then it keeps going. This disc also includes a table of contents, theatrical trailers, publicity posters, lobby cards, press kits, and even merchandise.
Like, they included all that on one disc.
All on one disc.
That's awesome.
Right. And then we have disc 3, and this one is packed with bonus features. Like,
Well, there's a full-length making of a masterpiece documentary, a Walt Disney biographical timeline, a Snow White production timeline, the original Brothers Grimm version of the story, and even a storyboard and sequence breakdown.
so it's like a whole history lesson on Snow White.
Exactly. In total, across all 3 discs, there are 75 chapters.
Wow, 75.
75 chapters, including the movie itself.
That's wild.
I know, right? It's crazy how much they packed into this set. And then there's this really cool leaflet that translates all the chapter titles into katakana for the Japanese audience.
Katakana, that's one of the Japanese writing systems, right?
Right. But here's a funny thing. The title, Mickey Theater of the Air Snow White Day, is kept in English.
Huh. I wonder why they did that.
Maybe copyright issues. They think it might be copyright.
Yeah, that could be. It's funny how those little things pop up.
I know. And to top it all off, this box set includes a book
It's a book.
called The Making of a Classic Film.
Nice.
It's mostly in Japanese, but it's full of photos and sketches.
I love seeing behind-the-scenes stuff.
Me too. It's really cool. You get to see the mine sequence, Snow White waking up, the dancing dwarves.
Oh, that's cool.
Right, and even though the text is in Japanese, the pictures tell you so much.
Pictures speak 1,000 words.
Exactly. Now, here's an interesting thing. The copyright info for the book is in English, and the table of contents for the sources they used is also in English.
Interesting.
And the sources are pretty impressive. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm Leonard Maltin's The Disney Films, and a story of Walt Disney as told by Diane Disney Miller.
Walt Disney's daughter.
Exactly. So, you know, they were pulling from some pretty legit sources.
So they really did their research for this box set.
Oh, yeah. And finally, we have the cherry on top.
What's that?
Exclusive lithographs of the original theatrical posters from 1937 to 1993.
Ooh, posters. I love movie posters.
Me too. It's like a visual history of the film.
You can see how the marketing changed over the years.
Exactly. And, you know, they used to re-release these classic Disney films every 6 or 7 years.
Keep them fresh in people's minds.
Right. So the posters here, cover releases from 1951, 1958, 1967.
Okay.
And get this. There are 2 different posters for 1967.
Huh. Interesting.
I know. And then there's 1975, 1983, 1987 for the 50th anniversary, and finally 1993.
So they skipped a re-release in 2000.
Yeah, it looks like it. Maybe because home video was getting big around then.
Makes sense.
The 1937 poster is particularly special, though,
Why is that?
because it was for Walt Disney's very first full-length feature.
Wow, that's a piece of history.
Right. And there's even a little blurb about Disney's struggles during the war and some of the weird movies they put out back then.
You mean like those package films?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. They point out that the Queen and the Hag are on the same poster.
Uh-huh. Spoiler alert.
Right? Some of you listening might have even seen that 1993 re-release in theaters.
Oh, yeah, I think I did.
That's cool. So we've got these theatrical releases, and then, of course, there's the 2001 DVD.
Which is supposed to be really good.
Right. Some people actually think it's better than the Blu-ray.
Really?
Wow.
I'll have to check that out.
And, of course, there's the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray if you want the ultimate experience.
The best of the best.
But the thing about this Laserdisc box set is that it's just so unique. You don't see this kind of attention to detail with modern releases.
Back then, these physical releases were like collector's items.
Exactly. This is how you do a deluxe edition.
Not just a digital download.
Exactly. It's a real, tangible collection of materials.
It's a whole experience.
So there you have it. We've taken a pretty deep dive into these Laserdisc releases of Snow White.
That was a fun trip down memory lane.
It really was. You know, it's amazing what you can learn just by looking at these older formats.
You really get a sense of history.
Right. We saw how the film was presented to different audiences, especially in Japan.
Those Japanese releases were fascinating.
They were, and that deluxe box set.
It was truly deluxe.
It was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And the fact that these discs are over 30 years old and still in such great condition, it's incredible.
It really shows you how things have changed.
Sure. Yeah, it does. So thinking about all of this, it kind of makes you wonder what future generations will think about our media habits.
Yeah, like will they be digging through our streaming libraries?
Right. Or maybe they'll find some old Blu-rays and be like, wow, look at all this stuff.
It's a fun thought experiment.
It is. It makes
Yeah.
you think about how we value and interact with stories we love in this digital age.
Definitely something to ponder.
All right, well, that's it for our deep dive into Snow White on Laserdisc. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening.
And until next time, keep exploring.